Hey guys, it's Brian here. Today I want to talk about Elvis Presley. No, I'm just kidding. I want to talk about conspiracies and theories in general. But I remember Elvis was the first conspiracy theory I ever saw. And, his face is on a magazine and he's alive when really he's been dead for quite some time. And right now we're in the middle of a pandemic and there's lots of information out there and theories going around the place. And so I just want to make sure that we know how to stay educated, and especially when we start sharing information about these topics, to make sure that we're sharing things that are accurate, because we can influence people. And I'm not just talking about conspiracies, any theory really. If you're gonna share something about healthy eating or exercise or pharmaceuticals or education, government, whatever, try and be as educated as possible. So I want to share about 5 tips, and these are kind of loaded. I really could almost make 2 videos out of this, so I hope it's not too long, but about 5 tips, so let's dive right in. Okay, so the first thing I want to look at is URLs. So if I type in a very common search, COVID vaccine, and I can see right away .ca, that's because I live in Canada, so that stands for Canada. But there's .org, that's organization, .com, we all know about, .edu for education, .gov for government. And some of them are more reliable than others, right? I could do a quick search, settings, advanced search if I want, and go down and type in a domain. Like I could type in .edu, .gov, and when I hit advanced search, it'll search for COVID, but only show me these other websites. It won't show me any .coms, for example. I'm not saying all .coms are bad, but that's for commercial, right? It's to kind of make money, really. Okay, so I checked the URLs. Also, I'm going to go to this one. The CTV News is one of Canada's news stations. So it helps that I can see the author and link and go check out who this person is, and so it's not some fake person. And the date is helpful as well. And that it's this is a respected news agency, so that all helps. Okay, the second thing is making a website and saying whatever I want on a website is very easy to do. Right? You've heard it said, you can't believe everything you read on the internet. They're not joking. Okay, so I'll show you how to do it. If I go to GoDaddy, GoDaddy's where you buy URLs, .ca, .com, .net, .org. You can buy them. Notice, anyone can buy .com, .org, .net URLs, but you can't buy URLs that are associated with educational facilities like universities or governments, for example. Something to think about. Not every URL is necessarily equal. So I'm going to actually punch in that CTV News, and it says ctvnews.com is taken, but it starts to suggest other websites that are very similar. ctvnewstoday.com. I could buy that one for $3 a year. That's very, very cheap. ctvnews.today for $3. But lots of them are very close to CTV News. I could say whatever I want on there, and actually it's really quite easy. If I go to the actual CTV News, I can go view, and I'm in Chrome right now, view source, and now I'm looking at the code that builds that website. I'm just going to copy it. I can go to my own website builder, very simple, like I'm just at Blogger, it's free, and I'm just going to do a page here, a new page, really quick. I'll go to HTML, I'll paste that code and preview it, and in seconds it's produced a website that's quite similar to what we saw on the actual CTV News website. So all I'm showing you is that it's really easy to make websites, and you don't exactly know who's who, which is why I would jump to step number 3. My third suggestion is to go to a search engine that's more robust, more reliable than just the simple internet. So EBSCOhost is one example. EBSCOhost, you have to have an account, but they're available at lots of libraries, government agencies, schools would normally have EBSCOhost, and they're trying to expand. And so because I work at a college, I can come and search EBSCOhost, and you can ask it or tell it what you want to search and where you want to look. Like right now, it's searching for all academic documents, 4,600 journals, right way back in time, back to 1975. Master file is all your National Geographics for years and years and years. This next one is nursing and medical, searching university journals. The point of EBSCOhost is it's well respected. These are recognized and understood as reliable sources. They're going to cite and brag about their sources. Here's where I got my information. Here's how I'm backing it up with evidence and proof. And it's peer reviewed. So you've got experts. Before you can publish it, you've got an expert reviewing that and checking it to make sure that it's respected. And so it's just a way more robust way to do a search. And now I can type in, my COVID and vaccine if I want. And it's hopefully pulling up, like, what do we got here? Clinical Medical Journal from 2020. Like, it's fairly recent. Let's see. Can SARS and vaccine develop in the older population? These are, they're just more in depth and based on actual science and peer-reviewed research. And so I would jump into something like EBSCOhost, especially if I'm going to start putting something online for someone else to read and believe. My fourth suggestion is to actually research both sides of your theory. So I teach a persuasive writing course where I'm getting students to come up with a theory and they have to persuade somebody about it. So in the beginning they research that, but I also ask them in the beginning to spend as much time researching the other side. And so you're looking at both sides of it, and lots of times the other side's going to be saying no to you, and you need to address that in your writing. And so what happens is students will come up with a theory, they'll research the other side and realize their theory doesn't have anything to back it up. And so they actually come up, they're wrong, and then they jump on this side. It's really interesting how that happens. So what it does is prevents people from getting tunnel vision, or they call it going down the rabbit hole, and stops them from, just researching one topic. You got to research both sides and figure out what both sides are saying. Another thing is to figure out where your theory falls apart, right? It's really actually important. You're asking somebody to invest in a company, or you're asking somebody to eat a certain food or listen to a certain speaker. You need to be able to figure out, when would I be wrong here? When would my hypothesis break down and not be true anymore? And if you can't do that, then you should really think twice about the theory that you're coming up with in the first place. So my last piece of advice for you is to do something good. Don't just focus on your conspiracy and finding evidence and putting it out there online. Balance your life out. Do some good. Have some fun. Relax. Set that aside. I called somebody on the phone this week. I haven't talked to him since I was a child. It was great just to reconnect. And it feels a lot better than just, getting all wrapped up in the negative stuff that's happening in the world. So those are my tips for today. I hope you found something useful and new to learn. Thanks so much for watching. We'll talk to you next week.